Okay, so Tanzanina Kanipu Wampaske Mikishimikwanapio, many blessings, all my relations in the four directions. We're here in Paiute Shoshone territory, Peehee Mu, otherwise known as Rotten Moon. It was named after the 1865 massacre which occurred here. And I'm here with Day. Day, could you just maybe introduce yourself and tell us why you're here and a little bit about the land?
Yeah, my name's Day. I'm an ancestor to this. My ancestors were massacred. This pass has been used since time immemorial, so there has been more than one massacre on this site. Our stories tell us there's two massacres, or two we know about. One involves our hunters. They camped up here, and the hunters went over that mountain range there to hunt bison, buffalo, and when they came back, they found the camp and the women and children, everybody at the camp, elders murdered and massacred. And so they sent two scouts, an old man and a young man, and to find and trace who did it. And they ran, and they found out. They went west, and they followed the tracks all the way to somewhere. It would be California borderline now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was. They found out it was the Pit River Paiute. We were battling nations, us two, our new people here, and the Pit River Paiute. And so the old man and they're both good runners, and they went and found out that it was them, and they captured our ladies, and so they talked to him in the evening time, and found him by the water and was talking to him, and told him that when they seen the arrows, which way ever the arrows are running, run towards them arrows. It's us. And so they did, and so they brought him back. But that's one story. And then, of course, the other one's the story about the 1865 massacre that happened here.
Good.
The other one that we know is documented. Of course, the first one is oral tradition, is oral history. And then the other one is documented, the massacre of September 12th, 1865, which involved a fifth generation of Oxam, and he was one of the three survivors out of that massacre here. And he rode north, and there's another peak up here that's our stronghold, and he ran there up north past this mountain range about 20 miles up north, and he hid out there for days, and that's where he hid out, and that was Oxam, and said fifth generation of him. But yeah, so that's our two massacres that happened that we know about. Mm-hmm. The first one's oral history. Second one's documented. BLM knows about it, but they seem to not know about it. They don't want to know about it now with this lithium madness. Right. But yeah, that's the name of this place, about Peehee Mu. So that's the name of this place. This place is covered in roots. We got bitterroot, wild onion, yapa. It's all out here. It's everywhere. Springtime, when the spring comes up, we could find it. Right now, of course, it's October and all the vegetation is gone, so it's hard to see. But springtime, we come up here and we'll get our materials that we need. And then we got to go down this hill here. Maybe we'll get to see it, but we get a bamboo stick, a wild bamboo, and this is the only place that we could get it here. It's a wild bamboo. We use it for our materials, spears, whatever. An old man told me it was called Wotokovi, is the name of it, Wotokovi. But that is right down below this. There's springs, and there's cold water springs and lahant cutthroat trout on the west side of this mountain range here. So yeah, that's a little bit about this place. and then we'll turn around south as we get the obsidian rock, and it should be maybe 5 miles, maybe 2 miles, maybe over that ridge, and that's where we get our obsidian rock. And our obsidian rock here was noted for being the best obsidian rock that you could find. So we had, I had reports of people coming from Washington, state of Washington, natives coming down here to get that obsidian. We got Eastern Shoshone coming here. The story is they snuck in here at nights to acquire the obsidian. But yeah, this obsidian here we got for was it was the best obsidian I guess you could get around wherever. And that range here, the mountain range across here, that's the government name is Santa Rosa Mountain Range. But we got our materials up there. We got choke cherry trees we use for our puddings. Of course there's deer and wild game everywhere here. So yeah, I took you a little bit around the whole place here.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, so go back to this lithium. They want to acquire lithium. You need the fossil fuel industry to acquire it. Of course, they're gonna take the sulfur that's that's piling up all over these oil refineries, and they'll ship it here and burn it 24 hours a day for 100 years. The reason why they take the sulfur out is so we don't burn it in your gasoline. But now the green lie is that they're going to burn it for 100 years for 24 hours a day. So that's how this lithium ties into the fossil fuel industry. And of course, they're going to have mining equipment here, and they'll be consuming hundreds and hundreds of gallons of diesel a day. So yeah, there's no, lithium is not the solution. You're actually accelerating the problem. And what they're going to do to get in this mine, they'll have to de-water it. They call de-water. So the deeper they go, the more groundwater they'll come into contact with, and they'll pump that out and use that and contaminate it. And this groundwater hasn't seen the light of day in millions and millions of years. So yeah, now we're in a water shortage crisis, and they're going to pump it and destroy it and contaminate it. Of course, we could use that precious groundwater for something else, for a better life, instead of using it for sulfuric acid and leaching it in all the harsh chemicals that's coming our way, the hazardous material. This mine is going to be more like a hazardous waste site, or so it's not going to be green. And the lie is that they're telling the world that it's going to be green and it's going to save the world. It's not. You're accelerating the process. And if we look off to the west there, you see the highest mountain range off to the right to the sunset. We got an alpine lake up there. I don't know if you know of Lake Tahoe, but the sceneries up there are just like Lake Tahoe. So yeah, we might be in the desert, but these mountains hold majestic scenery, and of course they hold life up here. So it's not a wasteland.
Right.
And you see this place here, and you look here, you see the figure up in the mountain there.
Yeah.
You see the man holding the torch. In front of him, there's a bear there. There's a bear head.
So if I put this over your hand, you can point to it?
Right there. You see the man holding a torch.
Oh, yeah.
They're keepers of this place.
Thank you.
So yeah, all this place has got, and the groundwater, they want to tell you that it's not going to drop the aquifer. But we live, this place is, it's got it's got shelves basically. So you got springs here. Of course, your groundwater is not going to push up into these mountains. So you got a spring here. You got water here. You got water at this level. You got water at this level. You start dewatering is what mines do. You drop it. You start dropping these springs, these natural, beautiful springs up here. And each time you deplete it, you start sucking this water down. Well, water's got to find its way down. You start dropping your aquifer. Hey, once you deplete this aquifer, we'll never replenish this aquifer here. The moisture get here, we maybe get 2 feet of snow here a year. So what that snow, it'll never touch our aquifer. It's just enough to feed this top vegetation here, our sage, and like I mentioned earlier, our first foods. So, and this is, we might get 7 inches of rain. Well, for the past 2 nights, it's rained for maybe a day and a half. So we got a good amount of rain. But of course, that's never going to reach our aquifer and replenish our aquifer. So that's just enough to sustain life on top of this land here. So, and then you go up to the north, again, toward the north, there's 4 creeks here. 4 creeks that contain Lahontan cutthroat trout coming up this mountain range. It flows off to the east there and goes down to that Sentinel Rock there. There's a little peak there.
Yeah.
There's flakes of obsidian all over. So the hunters would stay there also, and they would stay there and they'd get to the highest point, and they would look for game. And there's trout. So there's trout there. That's where they came and got fish, and they used to do a rabbit drive in the valley there.
Yeah.
Right there. But you don't see a lot of game no more. But coming back to this creek here, 4 creeks run off this mountain range, maybe 10 miles. There's 4 creeks. 3 creeks have never been introduced with Lahontan cutthroat trout. They are native, still wild, never been touched. So once we start dewatering this for lithium, you start dropping all these springs and these creeks here. So, it's not green. So, like I said, it's going to accelerate the process. Deforestation, same thing. We're not a forest here, but we got springs, and again, that way we got a natural alpine lake, beautiful lake. If you guys know what Lake Tahoe looks like, on top of that mountain, it's a little Lake Tahoe, and that's a natural lake. And so, yeah, this pass here, this is looking west. So this pass here has been used for millennia. It's not just been used for the last 500 years, as our opponents have said, that we've been here for 500 years. But we have stories about the Comanche originating from this land, Eastern Shoshone, moving off. Of course, they have moved off to Comanches in Oklahoma. You got the Eastern Shoshone that are in Wyoming. So this place is an old place. I got so what I'm told is from my grandfather and my father is that we were put here with the rocks, and we were put here with the rocks. So this place is very old. We are very old people here. We've been here for time immemorial. So yeah, this pass has been used by many tribes to come and get acquire the obsidian. So California might be 300 miles, no, maybe 200 miles west. And of course, Washington would be up north. And so last year we had, there's a bear, they had a bear come back in here. So our natural game is starting to come back. They say when you see an animal that's usually not in this kind of area, but they're coming back to their natural place, and they're coming back because they know there's distress, and they're coming back to help. So last year there was a bear sighted here, and black bear, I believe. And then over the mountain there was a moose reported and documented Same place that my ancestors went to go and hunt bison and buffalo. So the game's coming back. We're in distress here, and our animal family are coming back to help us. So yeah, that's a little bit of, basically I broke it down about what everything is here and our land and our foods. So yeah, and this is if we look back, this is a camp that we've been at for since February, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't believe we started the camp in February. Of course, BLM has pressured some of the people and some of our allies, and so the camp was much bigger. We had more awnings up, more tents up, but we had to clean up the place just to work with BLM, and so they want us to take this tent down and take our camp down and get out of here. Of course, that's just a way for them to get us out of this place, and so we don't, so they don't have nobody getting in their way. But yeah, so we've been holding ceremony. We had a prayer run in March, so that we had a prayer run. We had a staff, so that sacred fire has been running since February, March, and we've had people from around the world attend this place, and yeah, we enjoy people coming out. It's a good feeling here. Come feel it for yourself. It's a very powerful place. So come out and enjoy it. Enjoy the place, and come visit us. Waiting for you. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you, Day. Look at that. That's a good shot.
Beautiful.
It zooms in 7 times.
And then that place over there, I forgot to mention. Let's see.
Oh, wait a second.
You know where the eagles? What did I tell you? That's where the eagles go to die. They got their place up there.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's in our ancestry. There's strawberries up there. Not that big pole, not that big knoll, but off right under top of my finger. That's where our eagles go, and they got their resting place, and they go up there to die, and they got their water bath that they bathe in, and they go into a crevice, and that's where they, when they're old, and that's their resting place.
Yeah.
So they want to put incinerators here, and of course it's windy here. This is a pass, so they say there's not going to be no damage to the air quality, but the when they burn the sulfur, the pollutants out of the stack of the incinerators will be blowing the contaminants all over that mountainside, over this valley. So yeah, it will affect it all.